So hello, welcome back. We are having another look at Gorringes' fine sale, which is for most of you, I'm afraid, not viewable in the physical sense, but it's all online. We thought we'd do a bit more video just to talk about some of the other things in the sale. And Dan is here today, and Dan has dealt with all of the Asian section, all the ceramics. So he's been very involved in a lot of the sale, putting a lot of hours in to getting many of these things researched. And so we thought we'd have a chat about what's in that section. So Dan, I think I talked about that nice little brush washer carved with the boys.
Yes.
But tell us about the other bamboos in the sale.
So what is interesting about this collection of bamboo pieces is that it's come from a great collection from the family of a W.H. Grice, who was a great collector of Chinese carvings in the 1920s to 50s. And a number of the pieces he had were actually given to the British Museum and the Victor and Albert Museum. The sort of highlights here is this interesting 18th century box here. This is an unusual technique developed in the 18th century where a bamboo veneer is applied onto a bamboo body, and we've got little turquoise flowers on there. This is very rare and probably made for the imperial household as a gift from one of the carvers. We've also got some wrist rests. This one is particularly interesting because it's actually illustrated in an article that Grice wrote in 1954 in Country Life magazine.
And Dan, when you say a wrist rest, that's for calligraphers?
Yes, exactly. So a scholar or an artist would use this to rest his wrist to do calligraphy on a scroll painting, for instance. And then the other thing to talk about is this single owner collection from the estate of Alfred Arbour Cook, who died in 1993. And the family kept a lot of these Chinese coins and amulets. So the idea of the amulets was they have inscriptions for sort of mentioning long life, have great wealth, or succeed in your exams. And they were actually sewn onto the clothing of children or hung above their cot or something like that to sort of encourage them to have good luck in future life. And most of these date from between the Sung dynasty, so we're going back over 1,000 years, to the 19th century. But you do see individual pieces coming up, but not over 1,000 individual pieces very often. So it's a rare opportunity actually for collectors to see the full range of different amulets that were produced, particularly in the Qing dynasty. And amongst the coins, we've got the full history of Chinese coinage, starting back in the sort of before Jesus was born, right through to Republic period, sort of 1920s, 30s.
And how rare are these?
Most of them are fairly common issues where we've done big group lots, and then on occasion we've got some of the rarer coins, I guess, would be the coins that we've got issued during the reign of Zhenfeng, which is 1851 to 61. And because China was sort of at war with itself, almost like a civil war going on at the time, the coinage was devalued, and the coins are absolutely huge. Oh, wow. Some of them are sort of
like big one over the back there.
5 centimetres across. Here we are. I think we've got some. Where are they?
There's a huge one in lot 131.
Yeah, that's probably a charm. Most of these, the large ones, are actually charms or amulets.
Wow, there's so many of them. It's quite a remarkable collection. And you were saying that there are some fakes about, but we have to weigh them to check them and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but most of the fakes have actually been produced in the last sort of 10 or 15 years, because he died in 1993. Absolutely confident that these are all correct.
Great.
In fact, there was a book produced in 1968 on Chinese amulets, and the author used this collection as the basis for the book.
Perfect, that's great.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, we shall go next door and look at some furniture. So, we did look at some items last time, but what didn't we touch on? I think I looked at the Semanier, I looked at the vitrine, we talked about sofa tables, in fact, covered quite a few bits, but there's some other things out and about here, such as this large pair of Venetian views by Arthur Trevor Haddon, fair size, come from the property in Jersey. A little bit of drying out in the paint there, probably need a bit of attention, but that's lot 438. We've, not about, I was looking at this earlier today, someone emailed in and said could they have a condition report on this chest. So what do we look for when we look at a piece of furniture to do the condition report? So overall impression of condition and colour. Has it been repolished? Has it been restained? Has it faded from the sun? You've always got some scuffing and denting. In fact, you'd expect to see some on the top, but how severe is it? Have you got any splits running down the sides? Usually you do, this one we haven't. And then drawers, you look at drawers and we look at to see what the linings are made of. This one's oak back, sometimes it's pine behind the veneer. You look at the holes on the inside of the drawer. Has there been later handles added? Have they been mucked about with? Are the locks original? Does it have a key? Does the key work? Usually it doesn't have a key or it doesn't work. And then sort of, are there, like this piece has little splits and lifts in the veneer that aren't immediately apparent, but the sort of more you look at it, the more you can find fault. So one has to be careful in describing it. You say, yes, we've got to say that there are these faults, but at the same time, they're not huge problems. But if you do a long list of little faults, it can look like something's an absolute wreck. So you've got to get the balance right. We try to give our best and genuine impression of what a piece is. This is quite fun around here. This is a bit later in day. It's Edwardian. And this is one, they did like their sort of novelty patent items, the Edwardians. So this is a rather boring looking table when all closed down like so. But it swivels, and then the flaps open up, so we're going to play cards or what have you. And then if we fancy a drink, well, I think we do, so we'll open up this side door, and what should we have? Should we have a sherry? And we'll get the sherry, and we'll get the decanter out from here. We've got a set of 3 decanters this side, so we could have a whiskey or a brandy or something like that. Perhaps there may have been an ice bucket there, I think. That's probably what was sitting in that little recess. Then this side, well, we've got the dominoes, if you fancy dominoes or cards, or we could play chess. And then perhaps chess. Yes, we'll get the chessboard out and put that there and play chess. Or no, actually, I think I'd rather play cribbage. And there's the cribbage board. So what a fantastic thing. Really, really lovely. It sort of looks like original baize underneath. Not the height of fashion today, but you know, I think those extras like this chessboard and the cribbage board just sort of give it that extra pizzazz. And it's even got a key that works. There we go. That is lot number 368, should you fancy the games compendium. Nice old chest here. This is rather lovely. Oyster veneers. So oyster veneer is where they slice through the section of the branch to get the grain of the timber showing through. Traditionally, laburnum is the wood that's most usually thought to be used for such veneering in English pieces. And this would date, I suppose, it's round about sort of 1720, 1730, something like that. The lighter coloured wood in between is often holly or boxwood. And again, we have a look at this. What does one wonder? Well, one immediately thinks, is it original veneer or has some rogue re-veneered it to make it more valuable? But this veneer looks good. It's got a nice thickness to it. And again, the old story, we're looking for original locks and have the handles being changed and that sort of thing. So the feet would have been different, I think. The feet would have been like a bond foot and they put bracket feet on to bring it up to date. That's lot 315 anyway. So our history of furniture continues. We come through here. These came from the Jersey job. Whacking great console tables, and a pair of them no less. Lot 331. Lovely carving and gilding to the base, all in rosewood. You need a big room for them, but if you've got the room for them, they're going to look fabulous. So like those. A few portraits running along the walls here. Like to have the original here. This is Mary in 1544. It's a copy after the original by I forget now, but it's a copy in a frame. It's just got a nice look. We haven't put big money on it, so it's an 8-1200. We've got this. I think this gentleman's probably French. Lot 397. He's in at 5 to 700. Over here we've got some Victorians. I think we have a name for the sitter on this one. We don't have his name, but sometimes research can be done from what they're wearing. You can work out which regiment, if not who the individual is. Another copy here, but after William Seager. I think the original might be the National Portrait Gallery, so hopefully this isn't it. Nicely painted though, nice old copy there in good clean condition, lot 396. Or something a bit later, this fellow looks like he's well travelled or plans to be, or has been sending his shipping out and about, because we've got a map here of the Atlantic and America is shown and what have you. So perhaps he's showing what a wealthy individual he is and that he trades across the Atlantic Ocean. Don't know. Nice little secretary bookcase here, 332. I like this. This is monogrammed up here. SGL. Brass grilled doors are nice with the silk pleating. We've got adjustable shelves inside for your books. It's got a nice sort of slender form to it, which is always popular. And then the secretaire drawer, which, as they do, 2 buttons release it. There's the skyver and a satin wood interior. Little key here to the lock. Sometimes you get little slides here for supposedly secret compartments. So yeah, not a bad thing. That nice proportions, as we say. And then back up into the cell room. I think I've talked about some of this modernist furniture, which is great fun. Lovely easel here for a whopper. That's as low as it will go. This sort of about, what's it going to be, 6, 7, 8.5 foot tall, made in oak by Robertson and Co. Seen some use, plenty of use over the years from the artists. And these things are very popular again. I'm not quite so sure whether the height will help or hinder it. The carousel horse alongside it came from a local property just up the road. A big barn conversion. The lady had it standing in the middle, looked fabulous. Probably American. Lovely old traces of paint and really nice big glass eyes on it. That's lot 375. And elsewhere, what can I pick up on? Well, I hope you've looked at the art, hope you've looked at the paintings. Something for everyone, I suspect. There's all sorts here. From this rather precious looking little girl here through to this rather nice beach scene. Up here we've got some William Mellors. Now William Mellor, waterfall Mellor, really that's what he did all day long, is paint waterfalls. And if he wasn't painting a waterfall, he was painting a tranquil river like this. These are on the Lugui or something similar. Very nice condition, lot 444. Very traditional fare, but 1500 to 2000. They were more 20 years ago, but so were a whole lot of other things. And then I'll just have a look at the silver with you. There's a few bigger bits out on the table here, such as this rather nice cup and cover. It's got a good look to it. It's like 507. But round up in the cabinet, what have we got? The star of the show, I suspect, is this. It's Irish silver. Not always rare, but Irish silver from Galway is very rare. And this is early date as well. Catalogued as a salver, probably a chalice stand in fact, but either way, that's a very desirable thing by a rare maker. We've got an estimate on it of 6,000 to 9,000. Be very interesting to see where that ends up. So put that safely away. And then amongst the sort of a small but attractive selection of silver on offer, there's one of these card cases, usually Nathaniel Mills, and yes, this one is as well, with views to both sides, which is nice. And I'm sure Roger's looked them up and said where they're views of. 1840 in date, with its original leather case as well, which is another nice feature. Other novelty silver, there's this rather chunky in size owl pepperette or sugar sifter. A lot of pepper that would be. You'd like your pepper. No, I think we'll say sugar. Quite light in weight, but beautifully made. Lot 490. There's a lemon strainer should you need to strain your lemons, and teapots and wine coasters and all sorts of other goodies. So, as we have said before, a lovely lot. Enjoy the catalogue, enjoy viewing online, and any queries, just send us an email. Thank you.